Greetings, legends. It's Nick, and I'm here with a crazy theory. I mean, it's a bit out there, so please put on your mandatory key issues tinfoil hat that you were issued when you became a subscriber. There are minor spoilers in this video for the new film Ant-Man and the Wasp, so if you haven't seen that movie yet, please proceed with caution. In today's video, I want to explore the possibility that Ant-Man and the Wasp might actually be the missing link that starts the journey between the MCU and the X-Men. In fact, it might be the first time that we actually see a mutant in the MCU. So for those of you who have seen Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp, you know two things. One, it's an awesome movie, and if you disagree, you're wrong. And two, this movie might have some of the best material to speculate on in a film in a while. The core of the film essentially deals with Hope Van Dyne and Hank Pym attempting to find and rescue Hank's wife and former Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, from the quantum realm. The quantum realm is something that we really haven't explored much in the MCU, and that lends itself to more questions than answers at this point. For one, how did Janet survive for so long without food or water? You want to explain that to me, Kevin Feige? Also, why is she still gorgeous? Am I right, boys? A solid 10 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Alright, again, spoiler warning, I'm going to discuss the end of the movie here, but one part of the film that really stood out for me was what Janet says after being rescued. Hope starts to ask Janet questions about her new powers when she emerges from the quantum realm. And you can't see me doing air quotes, but I'm doing air quotes when I say the word powers here. But it's very clear that Janet Van Dyne has some new abilities when she comes back from the quantum realm. The villain of the film, who's actually kind of a victim of circumstance, Ghost, is trapped in a state of permanent phasing where the molecules and atoms in her body are constantly being torn apart and reassembled. This gives her the ability to phase in and out of the physical plane, but it also leaves her in a tremendous amount of pain all the time. That's her main motivation throughout the film. Think Vision, but with no control of her abilities. When Janet comes back from the quantum realm, she's able to, using her new abilities, stabilize Ghost's condition. Then she promises that they'll return to the quantum realm and retrieve more particles that may lead to a cure to Ghost's condition permanently. And while all of that information is relevant, it's not really the point. The point is that Hope and Janet talk about her time in the quantum realm. Hope asks how she was able to survive in the quantum realm, and Janet explains that she changed, or better yet, that she uses the word evolved. And here's where things get a bit speculative. Anytime the word evolution or evolved is used, usually in the comics, specifically within the Marvel Universe context, it's almost always associated with mutants, and specifically the X-Men. What if the energy of the quantum realm is directly responsible for the next stage of evolution in human beings, aka mutants? Have I got you hooked yet? Let's dive deeper. Now, we know that Disney's about to buy Fox. It's going to happen. The mouse wants to own Fox, and we have discussed on our weekly podcast exactly why this is a fantastic deal outside of the realm of just bringing the X-Men and Fantastic Four into the MCU. But we know one thing. The X-Men, mutants, and the Fantastic Four are going to be back with Marvel soon enough. I think that Ant-Man and the Wasp is the first movie that's setting up exactly how they're actually going to be brought into this universe. You can't bring mutants into the Marvel Universe and say, oh yeah, by the way, mutants have always been here along. Didn't you see them? They were over there in that corner. That was Magneto was over there. It's a really bad idea, but if you can't explain to the audience that there was an event that triggered their creation, well, then you can add as many mutants as you want. It's clear after Janet leaves the quantum realm that she has new powers and she didn't have these before she went in. What if her time in the quantum realm and her exposure to the energies within mutated her, essentially creating the first mutant we encounter in the MCU? They don't have to directly call her a mutant at all until the paperwork's signed between Fox and Disney, but it could be what they're setting up. If the deal doesn't go through, okay, she just has some new powers. But if the deal does go through, boy, she was a mutant all along, and you better get ready for Wolverine. Let's get even more gnarly with this theory. Now, we know from screenshots of Avengers 4 that there will be scenes where Ant-Man is shown fighting with Captain America in his god-awful Avengers 1 outfit. That indicates to a lot of people that Ant-Man in some capacity will be present during the Battle of New York from Avengers 1. This means that at some point, Ant-Man is being sent back in time. Now, we also know from the mid-credits scene with Ant-Man and the Wasp that Janet mentions that time works differently in the quantum realm and that there are things called time vortexes to be aware of, possibly indicating that time travel in the MCU is possible even without the time stone. What if Ant-Man falls into one of these time streams? He would essentially be at the mercy of the time stream and could, in effect, cause a butterfly effect, jumping in and out of different periods of time, trying to find his way back to his own timeline. Each time he comes out of the time stream, he unleashes tremendous amounts of quantum energy. This energy spreads out all over the globe and triggers mutations. By the time it's done, he may have inadvertently caused, through the butterfly effect, the creation of mutants in the MCU. Now, I know that theory is a bit out there, but anything is possible, What if this ends up being correct? Then it would at least help explain how mutants were created. We definitely need an origin point to explain how they came to exist in the MCU. And honestly, time travel and weird forced genetic mutation makes a lot of sense. So that's essentially it for my theory on how maybe Ant-Man and the Wasp sets up mutants showing up in the MCU. But this isn't the only crazy theory that we have to come out of Ant-Man and the Wasp. So keep yourself tuned to Key Issues, and please like and subscribe and all that crap. Also, please consider checking out our Patreon, where we currently have 0 Patreon subscribers. RIP. It's honestly no big deal. Just watching our videos is support enough, but the more supporters we have, the more content we can make, and if you're a long-running sub, you probably recognize that our output has been a bit lower recently. This has been Nick from Key Issues, your resident Marvel Cinematic Universe conspiracy theorist, and you know the motto, comics over everything.